In the last lecture, we started course. I introduced myself and then a little bit more just so that we can have introduction of the instructor before start the course. I told you about the two main textbooks, either Smith and Hashimi, Foundations of Material Engineering, or Callister and Rethwish, Material Science and Engineering and Introduction. My lecture notes are there, so any of these books that you can get from the textbook section would be good enough. Then I started briefly talking about the course outline, the description, what are the different topics that we will be covering, what are the major outcomes in terms of what SQU wants in their graduates and what are. We continued with, and we told you also the course outline in terms of weekly lectures, and tentatively that we will mostly try to follow it, but there may be slight differences. Of course, the midterm exam and the final exam will be as listed here because they are decided either by the department or by the Deanship of Admissions and Registration. Just to explain to you very briefly about ABIT and ABIT student outcomes and the performance indicators that the department has designed by itself. We told you about 1 and A and 4 and J and so on, which the course covers. Then we started with the main introduction chapter. We gave you the example of a robot geologist which was sent to Mars and so on, and how material science is relevant. We talked more of materials and engineering. We told you of this table, which is remarkable. It just tells you which elements are the most common in the Earth's solid crust and in the Earth's atmosphere. But hopefully, with the 4,000 years of engineering history going through iron and steel and now aluminum and then electronic materials, you have a new idea about it. Then we addressed why is the study of materials so important. Again, gave you the example of a very modern thing which is under design and development, 7 times the speed of sound passenger aircraft carrier, and what will be the material science required. We continued with that, and the International Space Station, which is way out there in outer space, its size and complications and technology. And again, why we are mentioning it? Because of the ultra-modern development of new materials and new material technologies and new materials engineerings that is required to do these type of things. Otherwise, these ultra-new technologies will not be. Then this was perhaps the last slide where we were saying that what is material science and what is materials engineering. And if you remember, right, we were talking of material science and we told you that science means the basic knowledge about any subject. And we were talking about materials engineering, and whenever we add the word engineering to something, it is the applied knowledge of that. So the basic science, the basic knowledge of materials will be material science. The applied knowledge of materials will be materials engineering. And in between will be material science and engineering. Material science and engineering, the thing that we are right now doing. So we are not purely in the science region. We are not purely in the engineering region. We are in this middle region where we know some things about the basics of material science and some things about the application of material science, right? So I am just showing you another picture, which I told you, right? A picture is more than 1,000 words. So if you see in the very center, we have the basic sciences, mechanics, physics, chemistry, math, and so on. At the very end, outside, if you see, is the total applied area, engineering, medicine, and so on, right? So in medicine, you have the whole medicine thing. And then not exactly engineering, but mining, geological engineering, and so on, aerospace engineering, and so forth, right? And here in a standard engineering, you have mechanical, chemical, civil, electrical, and so on. So this is the outermost layer, where is the pure applied part of the world of knowledge and so on. And here is the most fundamental inside crux. In between here is where is material science and engineering. So there are other subjects like applied sciences, like life sciences, earth sciences, polymers, they are neither there nor there. They are on the boundary of the basic science and boundary of the applied. So material science and engineering is the border between the two. So we are just trying to explain the same things to you, that you see this one course is very critical because it bridges that gap between the fundamental part and the applied part. And that is why I said that though traditionally the name of the course here is material science, but I would have liked if it was named material science and engineering, right? So that is it. Now from here we start introduction to the world of materials. Until now we were trying to build up your imagination and excitation and so forth, and giving you the importance of material science by various examples. Now the core, that if we are in material science, then that means we want to study materials. So can we divide materials into big major chunks or categories, where one type of material, there are many materials inside that one type because they behave in a similar manner, right? So I will tell you later on, we will go through each one of them. Here if you see, we start with metallic materials or metals. Later on we will tell you that there is another category called polymers. Okay, later on we will tell you there is another category called ceramics. So metals, polymers and ceramics are the three most well-known big categories of materials. Automatically there will be a fourth category which we don't talk about too much, which will be called non-metals, right? You understand, metals, ceramics, polymers, and then like oxygen and nitrogen and so on, which don't belong to any of these categories, will be non-metals. So these are the four basic categories of materials. And then will come some complicated, like we will go to composites, and we will see that composites is neither metals nor polymers nor ceramics, but a mixture of these. So that will be composites. And then there will be some other types of material classifications based on their application, like electronic materials. They could be metals or ceramics or whatever, but if they are applied in the field of electronics, they are electronic materials. There will be biomaterials, any type of materials, whether they are metals or whatever, but if they are used in biological applications, then they will be biomaterials, right? So these are the major basic categories of materials. Inside each of them there will be many of them, we will study later on. So here let us see metallic materials. So again, don't read further, just stop at the heading. If you have to define metals, right, you have done so many courses from early childhood, school, middle school, then to basic chemistry, basic physics here in the university. What do you think if I give you that in one sentence, tell your younger ones what is a metal? Then what would you say? What is a metal? Right? So you see, this is how you challenge yourself. It is very basic. I know metals. Iron is a metal, aluminum is a metal. But yes, you are giving me names of metals. What is a metal? If some child asks you, what is a man? You say, I am a man, your father is a man, you are a man. But he said, yes, but what is a man? Right? So the same thing, that you understand it mentally, what is a metal. But if you have to define what is a metal, what would you say? Right? So let us go here. I mean, you see, if you had a very clear-cut one-sentence definition, it would be nice. But if you did not, let me remind you. And again, this is a revision of things that you have done earlier. This is nothing new. Okay. So we are saying that metallic materials means they are like iron or copper or aluminum, etc. We are very correct, right? The metallic element may combine with non-metallic metals elements. This is right, like silicon may combine with carbon. Carbon is non-metal, and a new compound is formed which is called silicon carbide. Or iron can combine with oxygen and find a new compound which is iron oxide. right? So this is something else. This is not metals, but metals can form compounds. Now, metals are inorganic materials. This is the first thing they are telling you. Organic and inorganic, we will talk about it. Metals have crystalline structure, they are telling us. Metals have good thermal conductivity and good electrical conductivity. So you see, in these two lines are the four basic things that metals are, right? So now if somebody asks you, you can say that metals are inorganic materials that have crystalline structure and which are good in thermal and electrical conductivity. All these four combine together in something called a metal. Okay? So now, but you see, for me, when you say inorganic material, inorganic, what do you mean? If you were in the class, as I told you earlier, if we are actively interacting, then it would be much nicer, because we are in the class and I say, okay, you have done chemistry in the school, you have done chemistry in the university. Can you tell me what is an inorganic material? And you would try to one answer, two answer, three answer, and then we will go through. Here, I am the only one. I have to give the answers from your side also. So what is an inorganic material? You can again tell me that metals are inorganic. You can tell me that ceramics are inorganic, but polymers are organic. But this does not define what is an organic or inorganic material. So let me, I don't know if you knew, why is the word organic here? Why is the word organic here? Have any idea? Organic, what is an organ? Yes, you are right. An organ is a part of a human or an animal body. Your heart is an organ. Your brain is an organ. Your liver is an organ. Right? These are organs inside living organisms. That is why they are called living organisms, because they have these major organs. So this means linguistically, language-wise, when you say organic materials, then these are materials which should be found in living organisms, in humans, animals and plants. So you see, the ones that are called organic materials were initially found there. But now if you say organic, forget about inorganic. If you say organic, most of the organic materials according to you are found where? Yes, those of you are right who say they are found in petroleums and gases. Right? When you have crude oil or natural gases, most of those are called organic materials. So they are not called organic because they are coming from the earth. They are called organic because originally these type of materials were found inside living organisms. But this is one thing, where they come from. But what are organic? I'm not saying these first two letters in, remove the in, I'm talking of only organic. What are organic materials in general? Yes, those of you who remember your chemistry, these are generally long chains of carbon and hydrogen, right? That is how it is, and so on. Carbon, hydrogen, and so all the petrochemical things are hydrocarbons, right? So because these are also found inside human beings and animals, right? Our proteins and so on also have carbon, hydrogen materials and so on. Therefore, we call them. I'll continue.